Well, hello and welcome to this live here at The Print. I'm Rohini Swami and I come to you live from Bangalore on the YouTube channel of The Print. Today we'll be talking a little more about the founder, member of the Cafe Coffee Day, and VG Siddhartha, and the whole case about him going missing, and what it details in terms of what the case has been till now, what do the search operations talk about, as well as we'll be talking to you about and giving you updates as to what has happened till now and what would be expected while we go through this entire live process. I do request you to send in your questions or your comments while we go through this entire live session. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me start by talking to you about what exactly happened. Now, VG Siddhartha is the founder of the one of India's biggest coffee chains, and this is Indian bred coffee chains, that is Cafe Coffee Day. Though VG Siddhartha has for the last 20 plus years been running not just this coffee business but has expanded his businesses across multiple sectors in information technology as well as in the hospitality industry. One of his main trademarks has been Cafe Coffee Day. And as Vijay Siddhartha had once told me in the early 2000 when he spoke to me that his whole idea was to introduce coffee culture across the country. Now, he comes from a family of coffee growers from Chikmagalur, and one of his biggest difficulties was trying to break the tea drinking psyche and get people to accept and also appreciate coffee. But uh, the tragic news of him going missing after the complaint of his driver who had approached the Mangalore police as well as communicated to Siddhartha's family that on Monday evening he asked him to take him towards Mangalore, though he was headed towards Sakleshpur, and later stopped the bridge at the Netravati bridge, asked the driver to stop a little ahead because he wanted to take a phone call and said he would catch up, but he never caught up. And once the driver realized that he was missing for several hours, he tried contacting him. His phone was switched off. He panicked and called up the police as well as the family. But the search operations still continue. Now, not only are the Mangalore district officials who have pressed local fishermen as well as deep sea divers into this entire process, but also the entire Karnataka administration also in terms of the police, including a lot of personnel from Bangalore also have been brought in to try and help in the search and rescue operations as it still continues. Now, we should also know that Vijay Siddhartha is a son in law of former Union Minister and BJP leader S.M. Krishna. Now, though S.M. Krishna has largely not been in active politics. He did, we know, switch after being a long-time congressman into the BJP. But as soon as the news broke out in the early hours today, there were a bevy of political leaders across all political parties who visited S.M. Krishna, including the present Chief Minister, Mr. B.S. Yedurappa, former Chief Minister, H.D. Kumaraswamy, as well as other leaders, H.D. Devagowda, the JDS Supremo, and several other Congress, BJP, JDS leaders, as well as friends and people who really matter to S.M. Krishna and his family and admire VG Siddhartha and his entire business model. Now, the tragedy of this entire incident also was that there are media reports of a letter that had been written by Siddhartha to his employees, where he said that he fought long and hard to try and keep his companies afloat. But he also said that it was a very tough uh, battle for him, so much so that he gave up. Now he has the words in the letter are so clear in terms of not only him feeling that he's been given up, but he has also alleged that he was under tremendous pressure from certain investors as well as who made him buy back certain shares of the company, which he had finalized deal 6 months ago. And also he talked about what in today's term is called tax terrorism, which a lot of companies in India talk about, which he means that there was a lot of pressure from the IT, Income Tax Department and the Enforcement Directorate. We should not forget that he was raided multiple times, once in 20 locations, once in 2017, where all of Cafe Coffee Day's offices were all of Coffee Day's outlets across 20 cities were 20 locations, I'm sorry, across 3 cities were raided. Apart from that, the company was in debt to a certain extent, but sources who I've been speaking to also have been saying that the company has not been in such debt that they could not have recovered. So the question is, what led to possibly the whole incident now that Siddhartha has gone missing? Now, as of now, the police are still saying that that they are trying their efforts to try and find out what could have possibly happened. Now, there are multiple things. Number one is that they're trying to trace the last few calls that Siddhartha made and to whom and what they were about. Secondly, they're also trying to trace his steps as along with the help of his driver. Now, the dog squad which was used to in the search operations stopped midway nearing the bridge on the Netravati River, and that is why they are trying to understand from the fishermen whether they saw any kind of incident that could have taken place. Apart from this, also in terms of the various. If the company was in trouble, there were several other options, though people in the Cafe Coffee Day company has been saying that they were in the process of clearing off their debts. Now recently there was a 3000 nearly 3000 crore a deal that was because the stake in Mindtree Consulting, which is an IT company in which Siddhartha had stake, was sold, which was also done so to clear his debts, and there was a possibility of going and doing so. But what actually led to him getting to the point where he had to write a letter of this sort? And basically, as of now, we're still going with the information that he is missing, because we do not have any official confirmation as to what has happened to him till now. In terms of Abhishek Toshniwal asks, what is the debt situation of the company? Now, we have been told that the debt is around 3,000 crores, and this is only an estimate that I have been told, but the assets are more than around 13, 14 crores, 14,000 crores that he already owns. And that is one reason why many people who are close to the family also feel that there was a possibility that the debts could be cleared. But I also am getting to understand from some people that while he was trying to his efforts to try and get the company to be financially stable, the income tax department as well as the enforcement directorate were putting a lot of pressure. Even in January, early January this year, the deal that was especially of the buyout, sorry, the deal with the mind of buying selling his shares in Mindtree Consulting was itself, the whole deal could not go forward because the income tax department had put and stopped the payments for during because they said that they needed to check the books before any other transaction could take place. Now, what I meant, and I'm simplifying this for you for the simple reason, because we're trying to understand what could be possibly the reason behind this. Now, Lalit Srinivas asked, what was the tax issue he was facing? Well, according to the income tax department, they were in, and the enforcement directorate, they were uh, they were investigating tax evasion, and so they are trying to see whether there were any other possibly they were trying to see that if there were any other issues in terms of whether the company was in some way not showing all the records, because in 2017, when the raids took place, they found that the company had and which the IT department said concealed documents as transactions worth 650 crores. And so, continuing on that investigation, the enforcement directorate also, as well as the income tax department, were putting pressure, and that is what he claimed in his letter which a few days ago, dated July 27th, that he was under tremendous pressure from them, especially when it came to what his company's status was. Now, is there a possibility of loan sharks being involved in this debt situation? Asked Lalit Srinivas. We are not being able to say anything at this point of time, because it is still a matter of investigation. Not only is the whole incident of Siddhartha going missing a police investigation, but the matter of tax evasion also is a matter of income tax as well as enforcement directed investigations. But as of now, this is the statement, and we know that the income tax department did put out a statement saying that there is a possibility that they have been conducting investigations as per the law. And because in his letter, which is the most explosive of all the developments that has taken place, that he's mentioned about how that he was being hounded by top officials from the department. Now, Mannat Chawla says, what do you think are the possibilities of him being dead? Now, see, this is a question that we do not want to address at this point of time, because not only has, like I was saying, it's a matter of investigation. Secondly, we also need to understand that in such kind of situations where people go missing, it is always worthy of waiting for information to flow in. And remember, we'll be the first ones to here at the print to give you all the updates that take place. But for now, what we do understand from the officials in Bangalore, as well as the officials back here in Bangalore, and the company, if the company also has put out a statement saying that their founder CEO has been missing for now, but the company will continue because it is a company that is as well balanced as of now, and they do have their company in terms of their people who are working within it in place. But what are the possibilities and motives of abduction? Is he being abducted? Now that again is speculation, and we cannot possibly talk about it. Now, Lalit Srinivas, for God's sake, stop using a pinhole camera. I would suggest that you that any personal kind put them up here, because this whole forum here is right now to discuss issues, and we would like to also disseminate information while taking it from you. So thank you so much for understanding on that, on those lines. And finally, let me take one last question here. We've been also asked as to what possibly could be the developments in terms of politically, how can this work? Well, politically, as of now, the only political connection is that Siddhartha is a son-in-law of former Union Minister and former Chief Minister of Karnataka, S.M. Krishna, but it will be a personal loss to not just, as of now, what they have been seeing is the people who are coming in, that this information that is trickling in, that he has gone missing, it itself is a huge setback for the family as well as for people in Karnataka. And that is also because Cafe Coffee Day has been one of the largest chains, and let me quickly say, he was not a defaulter. He had enough assets to clear his debts. What could be the reason? Asked Yogaraj Kandlur Srinivasaya. Thank you so much. Well, he was not a defaulter clearly because he was not in the list of defaulters. What could be the reason? Well, that is being investigated, and that is why they're saying the balance between if you see the debts that were there and the company assets itself clearly showed that the things could have worked out. But one hurdle that the family, or rather people in the sources, have been saying is that the, the, the the kind of raids that were taking place and the pressure that from the income tax as well as freezing of accounts was not helping him clear his debts, and that was becoming a huge problem for him. I give He almost, if you read his letter, says, I give up. And I have been trying very hard, and I fought a long battle. Those are the words of a person who has been, as he also has been trying to say, has been trying really hard to try and see whether he could make do and rise up from the kind of situation that he is. Because today, Cafe Coffee Day has become synonymous with coffee drinking. It has become synonymous with coffee culture. It is up, and all the credit goes to VG Siddhartha, because when he started his first Cafe Coffee Day shop right in Brigade Road in 1996, since then there's been no looking back. And since then also, what he has brought to the table, not only has he given employment to several thousands and thousands of people, not just in those businesses, but also his coffee growing business, his other, like I said, hospitality businesses, his information technology businesses. He has also provided employment. While doing so, he has also provided a lot of opportunities. And at every time in interviews, you could hear Siddhartha saying that one needs to have the will, one needs to have the grit, one needs to have the determination and the push to take things forward. Well, it seemed that VG Siddhartha had it all when he did it, because he pushed it in such a way that I remember in one of the conversations he said that my whole idea was to try and open a coffee shop right in the heart of the tree drinking states of Punjab and Haryana. And well, he did it, and he was successful with it. And not only did that across the country, he did it abroad too, and made it the Starbucks of India. So while saying so, giving there is due credit that needs to be given to the fact of the way this entire uh, companies that Siddhartha has put together, has built itself a brand, not just for himself but for the country also. Um, what about the DG harassment issue? We know India doesn't have support structure for entrepreneurs. Will this case lead to a reform? Asked Jack Michaels. Yes, that's a very important question that you're asking. It is. He hasn't mentioned the name of the DG of the Income Tax Department, but that will be now taken by the police. It has been that particular letter has been handed over by the relatives also to the Mangalore Police Commissioner, who is in charge of the investigation still now. While doing so, this, yes, will should be, if there are issues, like I was saying, a lot of entrepreneurs who have been talking to, a lot of people involved in various industries that I've been talking to, especially in the industry, they've been saying that tax terrorism has been a huge problem, where they have been not, if they feel that they have been doing better, then they get immediately raided, or they find themselves in some kind of a case with the enforcement directorate, bringing them down financially and bringing them down also in terms of the whole concept of the model that they're trying to bring about. We're only hoping that that has been brought out by Siddhartha also will question the entire system as well. While we're doing so, we'll also like to tell you that we here at the Print will keep you updated, and will keep telling you exactly how this case has panned out. For now, thank you so much for your questions. We will continue our live updates on YouTube, as well as keep watching and reading our stories at theprint.in. Thank you very much.